Konbanwa minasan, Chronicle desu. I will list down some OP or usable units after the beginning of the 2024 era, and I will not include collab units other than from FGG or Gumi, so beware, since I doubt they will have a rerun in the future. Okay, I will split into 3 groups. First group will be for general use, mainly PvE. Second group will be for PvP like Arena. Third group will be for boss battle or raid boss. And I will start with Fire Elemental all the way to Dark Elemental. Non-limited first, then limited group. And for the first group, I will summarize a bit about them. Meanwhile, the other groups will be simplified. And for all non-limited job plus units, you can train them if you want, because they might have the other job in the future. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Okay, I will go through one by one. Veteran, able to cover physical damage from your allies, very high slash resistance, decent skill damage. Chihaya, able to debuff slash resistance and all parameters at all enemies in the map, but you might need her limited mementos just to further increase the debuff effect and turn. Pamela, she is a free unit, super buffer especially for the magic team, more benefits if you have her limited mementos, but completely optional. Fury, great for wiping out the whole map, especially the old quests. Reduce status resistance with multiple best status skills as well. Ela, many additional buff and one skill attack if she defeats the enemy. Shortcut status on herself with HP and jewel regen. Further increase her magic attack and dex buff if you have her New Year mementos. Inflict heal disable with all of her attacks. Alula, force target towards her with guts for 1 turn. Very high HP especially if you have her new mementos for Desert Group. Kamui, also free unit, very powerful attacker with his third job with troublesome requirements. Able to heal nearby allies with his ration. Have Alchemy Crush skills. These are the recommended limited units. Logi version Kessen Lasso, able to cover all damage from your allies with force target towards him, and super shield for the first 5 turns. Permanent increase your allies slash attack when their action turn starts from his master ability, and more buffs when any ally defeats the enemy for fire and light elemental from this mementos visual ability. Super powerful leader skill as well. Unknown version Kessen Lasso, able to force target towards her and CT up nullified at everyone for first 3 turns. Super shield when she uses any skills or ration ability. Has 2 unlimited usage skills, and one of them is AoE non-type attack. Nimulu, super powerful attacker with fire elemental shooting type or light elemental magic type form. Max HP times 2 and enough reaction for first 5 turns. Able to return 1.5 times and absorb some HP from the damage if you have one of his mementos gear. Strong versus all saints or dragon units. Melubile, she is a dragon unit, increase buff and debuff turn for all fire units, and reduce all attack for other elemental units from her dragon weather effect. Almost all of her buff skill AoE can be extended, able to recover HP, best status, and etc. More buff if your ally is Fire Elemental, able to transfer some of her status to any one ally, and also able to debuff enemies. Theological, able to remove Dragon effect during auto from the start of his first turn, but make sure you need to lower his speed. Able to cover magic damage from your allies while he has very high evasion rate. Most of his skills, including ration ability, will inflict the enemy with alchemy down. Lashelu, quite powerful especially if you have her Christmas limited mementos. Able to return 2 times damage back to enemy, but exclusive for physical damage and super close range. Has Rebellion passive, which means her ration will always activate no matter what. Ragnarok, collect unit from Phantom of the Kill, flying unit as well, means weak against shooting type attack. Able to act again if she defeats any enemy, but it will be useless if the enemy uses CT up nullified at her. Max HP times 2 for the first 5 turns, or 6 turns if you have these mementos. Asa, collect unit from Crystal Reunion. Able to cover physical damage from your allies and reflect some damage back to the enemy for the first 4 turns. Very high pierce resistance, specialized against wind elemental units, able to use cover skill again if you have these mementos. Next will be non-limited water units. Amane. She is a free unit with troublesome requirement for her third job. Able to increase any ally and herself, max HP with some damage nullified. High damage with her non-type attack thanks to her passive. Super high resistance if you have this memento skill. Elizabeth. Able to cast super cock up on your ally if they have normal cock up. Increase your allies' magic attack power, status immune on your allies from her main skill or ration ability. Optional, but this memento's visual ability will increase the chances of inflict bad status with charm attack buff on herself. Leticia, able to increase all parameters and very good with magic team. Status immune on your allies with merchant sub ability. She can transfer all of her status to any one Shadow Messiah unit for 5 turns by sacrifice herself. Itsuki, super high evasion rate, HP and jewel regen passive. She has many non-type attack skills with some bad status and able to absorb the enemy's dex as well. This weapon is very good for her. You can get it from the Battlefield coin shop. And this memento's visual ability will inflict alchemy freeze. Uncle, very high damage with critical, especially against fire units. Reduce physical damage from his ration ability. Great to team with desert unit, especially Lailu, the lazy guy, thanks to his main skill and new memento's gear ability. Gino, able to cover physical damage from his main skill or all damage from this weapon ability from your allies, and with 1 turn guts. He also has HP regen with physical attack buff enhanced, and his ration ability will increase physical attack and can be stacked up to 5 times for 1 turn. Actually, there are some not so bad water limited units, but I will not list it here. Shante, super high evasion rate, has multiple guards buff skills, able to reduce enemies' dex from her racial ability, and reduce accuracy from her main skill, so that it will further increase her chances to evade enemies' attack other than 100% hit skill. Ituga version Kissing Lethal, long-range attacker with super high damage. His attack power only depends on his dex, able to use double skills for 1 turn after he uses any attack skill from his main skill session. Double counter attack with HP absorb from his racial ability. One of the counter must activate his clock up skill first in order to activate the ration for the next 5 turns. Daphne, able to cover physical damage with her main skill or magic damage with this Mementos visual ability from your allies. High HP and defense as well. Also can reduce the enemy's attack power and increase her resistance from her reaction ability. And Melu version Kissing Lethal, able to cast Clock Up and Status Immune on herself or remove Dragon Weather effect. Can inflict Alchemy Crush or Down effect with her attack. Super high damage against all things or Dragon unit. Recover her HP with buff from her ration ability, HP regen and high heal power as well. Multiple OP buff from her passive. And Naji is a dragon unit. Her attack power only depends on her dex. More buffs for water units were reduce ration activation rate and movement for other elemental units from her dragon weather effect. Special shield on your allies when she is in human form. Well, many OP Thunder units are limited, and I exclude Niguru and Magnus because they are PvP machine. Mei Fan, able to use certain skills from the start like whole map buff or debuff, has multiple types of attack with resistance down. Able to cast heal panel which will surround her after she defeats enemy. Greatly reduce some attack type damage, especially physical damage from her racial ability if you have this Mementos gear from this Mementos. Fear, able to inflict sleep status after skill attack with debuff. Also can reduce enemies CT and resistance. Chance of avoid any attack from her ration ability. Reduce all elemental resistance and can be stacked up to 3 times from her summoner ration ability. Lock up herself with her Mementos visual ability or Chromancer sub ability. These are my recommend Thunder limited units, but some of them are considered optional. Yomi version Kissing Lethal, all range counter attack or pull them towards her and AoE counter attack with HP absorb after she receives damage from close range. Super high elemental resistance if her HP is low. Guards will activate at least 1 time if her HP is above 90%. Permanent buff after using any attack skills, full map, jewel damage, and debuff from her sub skill. Celis, able to recover HP if she lands a critical hit. Super high speed with clock up and HP regen. Super high resistance if you're equipped with her weapon. Auto recover her HP when below 25% for 1 time if you have this Mementos gear. able to use attack skill plus damage nullified on your allies with this Mementos visual ability. Orion, able to absorb most of the enemy status from his skills or ration ability. Attack skill with max HP times 2 for 5 turns if the enemy has physical or magic attack debuff. Slightly high chance of ignore the enemy ration ability for all of his attacks. Has dual regen from his gears, clock up on himself and clock down the enemy with this Mementos vision ability. Lan Hao, activate Berserk status with many buffs on herself after using some of her attack skills for 1 turn. Slightly big AoE counterattack and will reduce pierce resistance for 1 time before attack when she has Berserk status. More permanent buff if she uses attack with this Mementos gear. Auto recover her HP when below 25% for 1 time if you have this Mementos gear. Dima, able to increase pierce attack and critical rate on your allies for 5 turns. Permanent HP regen and status resistance on any one ally and herself. Reduce all damage with additional buff on your allies when she receives any attack from her ration ability. More resistance on any ally and herself if she is beside any ally. Also can cast clock up on any ally and herself from this Mementos vision ability. Seda version Kessen Leso, able to switch her main skills either with shooting or pierce type from her support ability, and also will permanent debuff either shooting or pierce resistance and can be stacked up to 5 times to all enemies in front of her. Super damage shield from her ration ability and uses counterattack after she receives damage. And it will absorb some HP from the damage with additional critical heal effect. Nullify all damage for 2 times from the start if you equip this Mementos gear. Kudan Shutain version Kessen Leso, activate his dark power form if his HP is below 25%. Double skill attack or ration counter during this form. Has multiple guards buff from his skill or passive. Able to debuff pierce resistance and can be stacked up to 2 times at all enemies in the map with this Mementos gear. Saphiris is a dragon unit able to cover magic damage from your allies with high HP and magic defense, high elemental and status resistance, poison and heal disable attack buff on all thunder units, or reduce thunder and status resistance on other elemental units from his dragon weather effect. Counter attack from his dragon form ration ability will absorb some HP from the damage, but only from close range. Nitohegaru is a dragon unit able to cover physical damage from your allies with high HP and physical defense. All attack and heal power up for thunder units, or status resistance down and damage taken increase from gluttony unit on other elemental units. Greatly reduce some type damage when his HP is above 50%. HP recover after he receives damage when his HP is below 35% with his ration ability. Next will be non-limited win units. Leonia, high critical damage attacker. One of her main skill attack will activate All damage shield with buff for 1 turn. More buff passive and able to reflect physical damage from her lethal skill when her HP is below 50%. You can purposely reduce her HP with this Mementos gear. Natalie, able to support your allies, especially with status immune and some buffs. Also can recover HP or jewel on your allies, slash and pierce buff on your allies from this Mementos visual ability. Shiruma, slightly high evasion rate and able to reduce enemies' accuracy as well. Good to team with Spica for more buff if you equip her Mementos. And team with any Shadow Messiah unit for the 5 turns buff from a start with this Mementos gear. But both Mementos are limited. Diva, mainly is for shooting buff on your allies. Also will increase our parameters as well. More resistant on your allies with her ration and support ability. Optional, but this Mementos gear will reduce all damage up to 3 attacks from the start. Bilu Helumu, decent magic damage, slightly high resistance buff from his attack skill and ration ability. Able to absorb enemies' magic attack as well, and absorb all thunder damage with buff for 1 turn with this Mementos Vision ability. Ahato, super high HP, defense, and elemental resistance. Able to force target towards her as well. Has multiple different types of attack. Able to absorb enemies' status or increase her elemental resistance from her ration ability. Permanent buff when she receives any damage if you equip her with these mementos and gear. Inflict HP jewel regen nullified on the enemies and increase her defense for 5 turns with her lethal skill. I think my win limiter units are quite OP. LOL. Distributor version Kese Lethal is got support unit able to activate shield and recover your allies' HP with her ration ability. AoE effect radius will also increase as well. High elemental resistance except for fire elemental if she is beside any ally. More buff if the ally is either wind or water elemental with these mementos. Permanent increase magic attack and heal power on all allies after their action turn start with her master ability. OP leader skill for water and wind units. Alumila version Kese Lethal is a horse unit able to reduce enemies' dex, accuracy, and force target towards her. Her evasion rate is also quite high as well. More damage and buff if she evades any attack. Further increase her evasion until she receives 1 attack from this Mementos Vision ability. Weak against strike attack, try to avoid anyone with 100% hit skill. Ice version Kesen Lethal is a horse unit able to override all weather effects with his own. Everybody will have top status except for himself for a short period. His special attack will almost ignore everything, removing buff and guts as well. Has max jewel from the start just like most of the magic attackers. OP ration will activate if his HP is above 80%. Has critical heal support ability. Shumeya is a dragon unit able to increase attack power and range for wind units or 100% hit nullified and move down for other elemental units. Has slightly high evasion rate, high dex, and accuracy as well. She can absorb evasion, accuracy with this Memento's visual ability and reduce accuracy from her reaction ability. Yukutola Shiru is a collab unit from Phantom of the Q, able to buff all parameters on your allies and certain type attack buff ×2 depending on which weapon she equips. Can absorb some status from the enemy from her reaction ability. Effect and range will increase for first 5 turns if you equip her with this figure from ES Quest. Taylor Finger version Kitten Lizzo is a collab unit from Phantom of the Q. Has many HP buffs and some of them cannot be removed. OP reaction buff will activate if her normal reaction activates at least 5 times. Able to inflict with alchemy over, also can support wind units as well. Okay, next will be non-limited light units. Chloe, almost all of her attack power depends on her physical defense. Some resistance will increase until she receives 3 attacks from her support ability. Buff will activate again after she uses any main skills or some master ability. Able to force target towards her with HP regen and buff from this Memento's gear ability. Speaker, usable if you have these 2 Mementos, but Shiruma Mementos is limited. It would be even better if you have Shadow Messiah Mementos and get this gear. It will further increase her overall status, especially if she teams with Shiruma. Her second Mementos will increase buff turn, which means some 1-turn buff will become 2 turns. Has double OP counter attack if she uses Lethal skill. Miyadiki, able to support your allies like HP and bad status recover, also can recover alchemy effect as well. Able to increase max HP and magic attack on your allies and light attack up if she is beside them. Has 100% hit skill with some debuff from her main skill and this Memento's visual ability. Neka, able to increase elemental resistance on your ally with buff panel after she uses some of her main attack skills. Permanent increase some of her status by increasing skill jewel cost. Super shield with her lethal skill from the start. It can activate again after she uses her lethal skill, but has to wait for 3 turns in order to use it. More buff when you have her limited Mementos. Moa has slightly high magic resistance thanks to her ration ability. Permanent increase her max HP if she receives damage from her master ability. More HP buff for the first 5 turns if you have this special Mementos, and more buff from this gear ability. Just like Berserker, she has 1-turn guts to withstand enemies' attack. Ziba, increase her CT by 100 if she defeats the enemy. It will also activate some passive buff as well from her super ability. Her evasion rate will be high if her ration ability activates for 3 times. Able to absorb physical attack with more buff if she defeats enemy with this gear. You can get it from the battlefield coin shop. Probably you will see some guys here very common in arena. deals version Kese Lethal. His normal attack becomes 6 hit with Alchemy Over and critical heal after he activates his OP mode skill. High single attack buff after he uses any one of his main skill attack. Activate his undead mode with death sentence when his HP is below 1%. Able to increase physical attack on all allies when their action turn start with his master ability. More buff for light and dark units if they defeat the enemy with this Memento's Vision ability equipped. One of the god tier leader skill for all physical attackers. Miss Salutim has permanent shield up to some damage and it will activate again during her next turn. Permanent buff with skill changes for 3 turns, and some attack skills will have additional force target towards her for 1 turn. Able to remove all buff before she receives the attack if it is from shooting type. These are Super Debuffer especially Slash, Pierce, and Magic Resistance. Also can debuff all defense and some resistance as well. She will activate her weather effect from the start if you're equipped with this gear, or can be used again from her main ability. Most of her buffs are for Lisa only, like force target towards her, and some of her skill range become infinity. Able to reduce attack power and critical rate, or even CT nullified until she gets killed from her support ability. It will also affect your allies as well, so beware. Clay Blue is a dragon unit able to use Chronomancer kind of skills and AoE overclock. Reduce charge time, clock up that cannot be removed, and CT down resistance for light units, while drop down top attack changes down, and CT up, clock up nullified for other elemental units. Super clock up at your allies and some permanent buff on herself with this Memento's Vision ability. Opineus has physical and some magic skill attack. Most of his skills will ignore ration with 100% hit during his human form, and all of his shooting range can be extended. Increase some status and jewel recover with his ration ability. His dragon weather effect will only benefit himself, while everyone will have almost all special status like attack modifier or resistance will reduce to either 0 or 50%. Damage shield up to 3 attacks if you're equipped with his Memento's gear. Lilu, able to use 3 elemental forms, you can turn off the skills from her sub-ability during auto if you want her to transform either wind or maintain light elemental. Thunder form will be similar with Tafiris, while wind form will be Shumeya. Her leader skill also supports these 3 elementals for magic attacker. Able to use additional buff depends on her elemental form with this Memento's Vision ability, and more buff and ability from the ancient dragon Mementos. Finally, the dark elemental units. Zahalu, super high physical attacker, able to inflict alchemy crush as well. More attack power if his HP is below 50% from his support ability. Jewel regen from his free weapon. You can get it from Barbell Chronicle EX Quest. Clock up with jewel cost down with this Memento's Vision ability. More buff and increase his buff turn with his Shadow Messiah mementos and gear. Mea, able to absorb magic attack, status resistance, and some elemental resistance with her elemental magic attack. Specialized with sleep, poison, daze, and bind attack. Long versus all elemental from her support ability, has magic attack and dex buff enhanced from her limited mementos, more buff and buff turn with this Shadow Messiah mementos. Blanchetto is a free unit, high evasion rate during her berserk status, also quite powerful against this unit, able to reduce dex and slash resistance to 0 with 1 attack skill power for 1 turn from her lethal skill. More damage buff if you equip her with Ziba gear. Increase berserk status rate, critical damage, and skill usage with her weapon. You can get it from the Battlefield coin shop. Teresa has 1 turn guards just like other berserker class. Additional skill will activate if her HP is less than 50% from her main skill attack. She will use a counter attack with Alchemy Over instead. Also has Berserk with Guts for 3 turns from her lethal skill, but the buff can be removed. Permanent increase her attack power when she receives damage with her Mementos gear. Noi has triple counter ration ability. One of them will absorb the enemy physical attack, and another one will inflict stat status with critical heal. High status buff if his HP is above 90% from his support ability. Also has high ration block status. Max can be more than 100, I think. This gear is also very good for him. You can get it from the Battlefield coin shop. And lastly will be the recommend Dark Limited units. Azami, able to increase attack power especially against Giant and Oni. Also can transfer her status to any one ally as well. Able to reduce defense versus human from her ration ability. Also can absorb enemy status and inflict Alchemy Crush. Resistant debuff if against giant unit with this Mementos Vision ability. Solo. Permanent increase all Beta Templar with his support ability and greatly reduce all damage if his HP is 100% and fully recover his HP for 1 time if his HP is below 50%. Able to absorb enemies' physical and magic attack with his laser skill, but cannot be used again during the next 3 turns. Able to inflict Alchemy Freeze with his main skill and this Mementos Vision ability. Matia, strong against non-human unit, able to use status immune for 1 turn before the enemy's attack from her ration ability. Has permanent buff from her sub-skill and HP regen from main skill. Some passive from her support ability and this Mementos gear will activate again if she uses the normal attack or skills. This will also increase her status if she defeats the enemy. Lintoleku is a dragon unit able to increase all type resistance except for slash and non-type after he uses main skill attack or ration ability. Status and debuff resistance up, all attack become 100% hit for lane rate, status up, and jewel cost down for all dark units, while parameter buff effect down for other elemental units from his dragon weather effect. As critical heal from his dragon form will activate additional attack if he lands a critical hit with his main skills, and it will power up if he equipped with this Mementos gear. Ouroboros Legacy has critical heal support ability, able to auto-revive for one time, but it will reduce her max HP by 50% from support ability. High magic damage and able to use Drop Up on one ally and herself. Able to absorb magic attack and resistance from her reaction ability. Has damage shield up to 2 times from the start with this Mementos Vision ability. Ouroboros is a cheat code unit able to use powerful magic attack, whole map attack plus debuff with her first job, or support your allies like HP regen and status resistance up, shortcut status, or permanent increase all parameters that cannot be removed with her second job, quick reaction and support ability. Able to use this Mementos gear attack skill even with her second job, since her second job doesn't have any attack skill, unlike the first job. Okay, next is for PvP. These are the fire units I think is quite good. Tulito is not so bad because he can lower the enemy's accuracy a lot. So even if your allies' evasion rate isn't that high, most likely they will evade the attack other than 100% hit skill or immune to debuff. Halone can reduce drop-down resistance while has high chances to inflict drop-down with all of her attacks if you have her mementos. Next is about water units. Yara's version Kissing Lizzo is very good because of her additional free turn when she lands a critical hit from her main skill. Also will avoid all attacks from her ration ability at least 2 times. Lamia is actually quite powerful if you are using her with Mania, thanks to her power-up jump skills from her other job. Meninus is super specialized against fire units because of her fire elemental resistance and strong versus fire passive or from skills. Okay, for the Thunder units, Niguru is just too powerful in PvP due to high damage, evasion, and speed, but weak against 100% hit skill. Now Olivia also quite similar with Niguru with super high evasion and damage, but her evasion buff is only for the first 7 turns, so beware. Magnus is a shooter able to reduce status resistance while inflict stock status or any other random bad status. And for the wind units, Eulalia able to support wind allies, especially the long-range shooter, while with decent damage, and has damage shield from her Mementos gear. Helene is also quite good because of her weapon, greatly increase evasion until she evades 3 times. Also have whole map attack with debuff. Next will be the recommend light units. 9 version Kissing Lizzo will be very good for PvP because of his ration ability. It will reduce all damage to 1 no matter what for 3 times. Also strong against non-human units with high elemental damage. Lailu is also very good, especially his laser skill. He will avoid shooting attack type from the front for 3 turns. Good against crazy shooter like Edgar, Ryui, or Manus, etc. Solomon's support ability will permanently reduce enemies' critical rate and damage until she gets kills, and it will not affect your allies, which is very good. Lastly will be the dark units. Grante Pierre, able to force target towards her with very high magic defense, but not so suitable against physical attacker. Fear Not has high evasion on certain attack type for the first 3 turns, and her ration ability also will increase her evasion for 1 turn. Unerosed version Kissin Lethal mainly is support your dark units, especially magic attacker. Also can inflict buff, HP and jewel regen nullify as well. Okay, next is the recommend physical attacker for the boss battle. Well, really nothing much to say here. Zaha as usual with god damage plus alchemy crush. Nimu also something wrong, especially against Sin's unit. Tangaizi has insane damage from his ration counter attack. Next is the magic attacker. All of these units are very good against the weakness elemental. Paris is good against almost everything because of alchemy over and her skills. Nimu has to transform into light form in order to use magic attack. Next is about the support buffer units. Judith as usual, best physical attack status transfer and thunder units buffer. Sumelagi, able to increase magic attack and can be stacked up to 10 times, just like Blacksmith with magic attack modifier buff. Emma will be the best for magic attack status transfer with light attack buff. Marjorie will increase wind attack and with status transfer as well. Shahelu will be good with water units. Ikona will be for fire units. Lin able to use status transfer at multiple allies with her lethal skill. Loli Obros can use almost all mementos and gear ability. Lastly is about the debuffer units. Well, actually there are more than this, but I cannot remember everything, so I roughly list down those units I know. Edgar version Kese Leso is the top shoot resistance debuffer. Asa able to reduce wind unit resistance. Masakato able to reduce both wind and slash resistance, also can transfer his status to one ally. Fukachi and Jubei can reduce all defense on Oni units. Nebelu can reduce water unit resistance. Lupinas will be the best for the elemental resistance debuff from Summoner Ration ability. And all units with Dancer job. Okay, I am going to end the video soon. Most likely, those units I mentioned will be usable almost forever even next year. And of course, there will have more other job class or new version Kese Leso units in the future, but it doesn't really matter. If you guys have any question, just comment as usual. Thank you for watching. See ya, sayonara.